Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Scrap the Boys. For December we have a sketch challenge for you, so this is the sketch we are working from this month. It's got 5 tags in the background, it's got a couple of square photos and then a larger title with some embellishments. And so it is December, I'm going all Christmassy for this layout and I'm using Simple Stories Make It Merry collection. I've also pulled out this sequin mix from Spiegelmum. I've got a couple of flares there, and I've also got some bits and pieces from Bramble Fox. I don't put all of it on my layout, but I just pulled out some bits that I thought I might get on initially. So like I said, this is the Make It Merry collection, and I absolutely love Simple Stories collections because they always come with a pattern paper that is just a whole sheet of tags, and they're just perfect. So on one side, as you can see here, they are all patterned with different things on them, and then the reverse side of them is generally a blank tag with just the top part decorated in various patterns and colours, and I just absolutely love them. So I'm just taking some time to get them all cut from the paper, trim them all down, and then I'm going to pick the ones that I want to use. So on the sketch there are 5 large tags in the background, so I'm going to stick pretty close to that, and I'm going to pick some with colours that kind of match my photo, and just generally nice shades of kind of red and green that really scream Christmas to me. So I've got all my tags cut out, and you can see here I'm just kind of going through them trying to decide which ones I want to use, and then the extras I'm just putting on a book ring there, and I'll keep that with the collection so they're now ready to use. So I've selected these 5 tags to start with as I really like the colours of them, but then I found that the ones that were kind of popping up behind the photos, you could see a bit of the detailing on them and it didn't really look right, so I went back through my tags and thought I'd maybe use the reverse of some as well. So I'm still going to stick to mainly red and greens, just very Christmassy, aren't they? Traditional Christmas colours. I'm going to bring in a kind of neutral coloured one for the centre. I want it to be kind of symmetrical with my colourings, so I didn't want 3 red and 2 green or the other way around, so I've pulled in a neutral one for the centre because I feel like it goes really well with my photos. So I've got a really tall kind of like snowman and some stacked gingerbread men that are a neutral colour. So I've picked that one for the centre, and then I've picked my reds and greens now, and I'm just using my distressing tool to distress all the edges of those just to bring a bit of texture to the page, and then I'm going to go about arranging those and getting my photos in place. So I want to get all these tags kind of stuck together so that I can move them on and off the page in one go without having to keep arranging them. I'm quite happy with the formation I've got at the moment, so I'm getting those all stuck together and it just makes it a bit easier. I am going to add a little bit of mixed media to my background, so I will want to pull in those tags and sort of audition them on top of the mixed media just to check I'm happy with it, so it's just so much easier to move it as one piece. So I've got those in place now. I'm going to have my photos sitting on top of those as per the sketch, but I wanted to give them a bit more of separation from those tags, so I'm going to add some pattern papers behind them. I think I only had one in the end, so I add this gorgeous kind of checkered pattern. It's not even checkered, is it? It's like tartan. I just love this pattern, this paper. I think it's gorgeous. So I stuck my photos together, and then I'm just going to kind of cut a rectangle. I'm not going to back each photo individually. I just wanted a bit of something behind the photos, and this has worked really well. And again, distressing the edges of that, just in keeping with the tags. And I'm happy with how that's looking now, so I'm going to add some foam behind to raise the photos up. I always like to make sure my photos are raised up to kind of make sure they are the focal point of the layout and they stand out, because after all that's the reason we scrapbook, isn't it? So that we can preserve the memories in our photos, so I don't want those to get lost on a busy background. So I've raised those up on foam. And now I'm just trying to pick out what I want to use for my title. So on the sketch it's got a rather large title, so I wanted to stick closely to that. I was in two minds whether to go with Good Cheer or whether to use December, but I felt like December was a little bit too blocky, so I've gone with Good Cheer. I've applied some talcum powder to the back of this foam sticker just so that they're not sticky anymore and I can move them about. And as you can see, I play with them in several areas trying to decide where I want them, considering varying from the sketch there just for a little bit, but in the end I am going to stick with quite close to the sketch and have them down the bottom under my photos. And I'm going to add some gold star trim behind them, just kind of something going horizontally across the page there. Now I just want to have a little look through the die cut packs and pick out some ephemera to use. I just want to kind of see how much I'm likely to bulk the sort of design out before I go adding my mixed media. And I think I'm going to probably add a couple of flowers either side. I think they're poinsettias. And I'm just kind of having a play just so I can get a rough idea of how much of my background to cover with mixed media. So I've got a rough idea of what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add a few little embellishments either side of my photos. So I'm going to go ahead and get my mixed media on the page. And I'm just drawing around the tags and photos just to give me a rough guide. I'm using a distress ink in Festive Berries, and I've applied it to some packaging, watered it down slightly, and I'm applying it to my background with a brayer. I just wasn't in the mood to do the packaging technique really. I felt like doing something different today, so I've gone with the brayer. I haven't used gesso or anything like that on my background. I'm only adding sort of a tiny amount of water to that ink, so I'm not going to saturate my background at all. So there'll be minimal warping, so I've not worried about gesso. And then once I've got my ink brayered on, I'm coming back in with the same colour and just adding some splatters to my background there. And I'm quite impatient and I want to carry on, so I'm just going to wipe the excess up with a paper towel. And at this point I think I'm done with my mixed media, so I go peeling the backs off of everything to get those tags stuck down, and just before I stick it down I decide I want to add a bit more to my background, so I cover everything back up and pop those to one side. So I've got a Christmassy stencil here. This is by Echo Park, and it's kind of Christmas leaves, just looks quite festive, so I've gone with that. And I'm just applying some white texture paste through it using a plastic kind of palette knife or spatula. And I thought I'd just do a couple of areas, top and bottom, and then I quite like how that looks, so I decided to kind of fill in all the gaps and have that going all the way around. And you won't see all of this, a lot of it will get covered up with my tags and my embellishments and stuff, but you do see a few areas peeking out here and there, so it just gives a little bit more detail and texture to that background. And like I mentioned, I'm quite impatient, so I'm not letting that texture paste dry at all. I'm just going to crack on and get things stuck down. So I've got my tags and photos now in place, central on the design as per the sketch. And now I'm just using some quick dry tacky glue to get that gold star trim in place. I've just stuck the centre parts down for now because I'm not sure if I want to trim it down or not. I'm getting my title in place. I'm having to add some extra foam just to the bottom of those letters or the words, sorry. I want the top bit to just overlap the photos, and because they're raised up on foam, I needed to raise the bottom up a little bit as well, just so that it kind of all sat level. And I've decided I like the star trim to go all the way along the page, so I've just stuck the rest of those stars down. I've added a little tab to the top of my tags as per the sketch as well, and it says, "Oh, what fun." And I really like that because these photos are of my little boy last Christmas, and I'd set up a kind of home photo shoot with loads of art Christmas decorations and things, and he absolutely loved sitting there posing for photos, so it was lots of fun, so I quite liked that. And I know I'm going to pop some embroidery thread through the tops of those tags, so my design is kind of going to extend up a little bit, and I wanted to bring it down a tiny bit more as well, just to balance it out and just so that it didn't look like my title had just been plonked there without thought. So I've cut one of these circle pieces from one of the pattern papers in the collection, and I've just slotted it under my title there, and I will come back in with a couple of little bits to add down there in a minute, but I'm just happier now that it kind of comes down to almost like a point, if you like, or it will do once I've finished that area off. Now I'm just going to add a few embellishments either side of my photos. So I've started off with those poinsettias, and now I'm going through the die cut pack, and I'm pulling out the Christmas trees and bits that I think will work. So I love the Christmas trees because there's a little tree in my photo, and that's my son's little tree that he decorates himself. He helps me decorate the big tree, but this is his little tree that he has all to himself. And it has some chocolates on it nearer Christmas and things, so I wanted to get the Christmas trees on, so I've added those either side of the poinsettias. I toyed with the idea of adding Santa's head in the middle of my photos, but it just looked a bit like headless Santa floating there, so he got the cut literally. He didn't make it, but instead I'm gonna stick a sticker there from the sticker book. It's kind of like in a brown colour, and I liked the way that it's like kind of a neutral colour, and it's going to sit on that neutral tag, and that says Merry Christmas one and all, and I quite liked that. I'm just going through the sticker book here, just pulling out a couple of smaller kind of word stickers, and I'll use those to add on that circular element, I suppose, under my title, just to extend that down a little bit. And I also add a little tab as well. I'm just going to stick that to the right of my photos, and I've stuck those onto white cardstock, so I'm not really 100% sure where I'm going to stick them at this point. So by sticking them on the white cardstock, not only does it remove the sticky element and it means I can move them about, it also just makes them a little bit more kind of sturdy and rigid. I find these sticker books, they're quite thin paper they're printed on, so by adding the cardstock I've just made those a bit more rigid, and they'll just kind of sit nicer on my page. So those are all in place now. I'm going to work on threading these tags. So I pulled out my baker's twine initially, and then realised I didn't have a red one or a green one, which is less than helpful. So I've gone for embroidery floss instead. I've pulled out a red and a green, but I want to have them kind of symmetrical. So I've got a red and a green on the left, a red and a green on the right, and I'm going to pull out a neutral colour to go through that neutral tag in the middle. I have big issues with kind of symmetry and patterns and things, a bit kind of OCD about it. If I intend a layout to be kind of non-centered, to like offset to one side, I'm fine with it. But when I've got a kind of central symmetrical page like this, the same as the tags, I couldn't have had 3 of one colour and 2 of the other, which is why I've brought in that neutral tone. So it just makes me a bit happier having that neutral thread through that centre. And now I'm going to add a few more last bits. I've got a couple of flares from Dotty About Flair. I had a red one and a green one in my stash. I've added a green sticker to the red one, and I'm going to add some gold thread behind that. I love to add thread behind my flares. I've got a gold metallic thread by We Are Memory Keepers, and I've just added that to the right. I've got a green tag that's going to go over on the left. It's got a tick on it, which I initially bought it to kind of do a back to school layout, but the tick didn't obviously fit with a Christmas theme. So I've pulled a circular sticker from the sticker book and just stuck that on the flare and covered it up. So it's made that flare work for me. And again, adding some thread behind that and getting that stuck in place. And now I'm going to finish off with some Bramble Fox holly leaves. I love these. These are mirrored and they're just super, super cute. And normally they come with a kind of protective film on the back that you peel off. But these mirrored ones, I forget. I try and peel it off. They don't remove. And I sat there for a few minutes trying to get it off and really hurt myself stabbed myself with one of the holly leaves, but yeah, they don't come off. So we've got those stuck down in place with some glossy accents. And now I'm just bringing in a sequin mix from Spiegelmum Scraps called the North Pole, and I'm just picking out the greens, reds, and a kind of couple of little small white sequins, and I've added them around the page just to finish that off. And then that's me done. I do off camera just add a few red splatters down the bottom there. There was a lot of red at the top and not much at the bottom, so I will add some splatters that you'll see in the close-ups. But that's me finished for today and my December challenge. So thank you very much for joining me. It's a lovely sketch. I really enjoyed making this one. If you want to join in with our challenge this month, you can do. Just create a layout based on our December sketch, and Rachel will start a thread in the Scrap the Boys Facebook page you can just add your layout there to the thread so that we all get to see it, but it'd be lovely if you could play along. But thanks again for watching. If you're not already a subscriber to my channel, please do consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss anything and you see any of my future layouts. But thanks again. I'll leave you with the rest of the close-ups and I'll see you next time.